Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
The Rock and Review is thrilled to bring you an artist, a singer, songwriter, artist, author, YouTuber, comedian. She does it all. Anna Akana, thank you so much for coming on the Rock and Review.
No, thank you so much for having me. I love your shirt, as I said.
Thank you. I themed it just for you. I got to tell you what, it's like, and I knew about you, particularly from your popular YouTube series and everything. But what really wowed me is this new EP that you have, out that is no longer yours. And it's like, there's so many hit songs on here, but how do you find the time to create songs and music videos, like the incredible music video for Run? How do you do that?
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, my mom was always an artist, and she kind of taught me from a young age. Whenever I had a heartbreak or I was upset about something, she was like, you can turn that into something beautiful and you can channel that pain into something. So processing what I'm going through by putting it into some kind of tangible art form has just been something that I've always carried around with me because of my mom. And also my dad is former military.
Right.
So he taught me discipline and work ethic and how to color coordinate my calendar. So I kind of got like the best marriage of parents to be a disciplined artist.
Well, and I've watched so many of your videos. I really love the message and everything else, but also the humor. I think that comes from you being a comedian. And like you and I were talking before we started the interview, Anna, to where you also address topics that some people are afraid to, and I think they need to be voiced, and you bring them to the table.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, it's like tragic backstory, but my sister killed herself, for those who don't know. And I became a mental health advocate for that reason. She was 13 in 2007 at the beginning wave of all of these young adults taking their own lives. And I don't know, it just was a before and after moment in my life that impacted who I became today.
Right.
And so I'm very passionate about, if my sister had someone she watched online or had an artist she looked up to who spoke out about this, would she maybe still be here today? And
Right.
I try that person who could maybe impact that person's life.
Well, and I think, and you're a published author also with 2 books, but I think what you have brought up and addressed, Anna, is even more poignant during this pandemic when so many people are, kind of trapped at home. And, I'm just so glad that you bring this up and address this. And I'm sure that you're helping a lot of people. I got to bring this up, too, to brag on you. 2.76 million YouTube subscribers. You're an instant success. It only took 10 years, right?
It took me 10 years to have any kind of success. I don't know why everyone doesn't do it, Eric.
But it's so incredible because, I mean, like I said, they're how you produce them and everything. I love the one video too, Anna, to where you're doing the lights, you're doing the camera, you're doing the makeup. It's like, I've got a great crew here.
Yeah. In reality, I do have a spectacular crew, but I spent the first 6 years doing everything myself. I'd put my vacuum cleaner where I wanted to stand, go to the camera, put it in focus, press record, move the vacuum cleaner, take its spot, do the things. And then I'd realize I forgot to put my lav mic on for the whole thing and I'd have to redo it all. So I just kind of played all parts very naturally in my videos for lack of having friends or crew. So now it's great to actually get to work with other human beings.
Well, also it's not a bad thing when you end up in some hit movies like Ant-Man.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
You've been in several, and I listened to your past album too, Casualty, that came out in 2019. And it seems to me with this new album, Anna, you've really made a progression. Like I found it interesting with your lyrics and the music, to where some of the music was kind of like in a minor key and kind of haunting, but then the lyrics weren't. And you're working with the same team that you worked with on your first album, right?
Yes, Jenga Productions, which is made up of Shay, Nietzsche, and Jim, have been my main music team for everything. And I personally love that dichotomy in songs. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard, like, I Took a Pill in Ibiza, where it's like this happy dance pop remix. And then you're really listening to the lyrics and you're like, this is so sad and awful. Mm-hmm. Those are my favorite kinds of songs because it really shows you what you can bring out both sonically and lyrically.
Well, and I think Pink, such a great song. It's one of those that I'm sure a lot of people are going to have on a playlist and on repeat. But it's such an anthem song, and your voice, is just incredible on this. To me, it's like, once again, it's like going, geez, you're juggling all these things, between the YouTube and author and comedian and all these different shows and everything you're doing, TV and film. It's like I thought, where does she find time to write great music and then go in the studio and record it? Oh, and do music videos.
Well, actually, the pandemic has made it very creatively interesting because we have to have less people on set. We can't have as many talent in the video with me. So Run is something that we particularly made in the pandemic and had to approach it from how can I be just me on camera in wide open spaces to prevent, being closed indoors. And so what resulted actually ended up being, I think, one of my best videos from those kinds of creative constraints. And I was like, oh, this is such a nice turn of events.
Well, I got to bring this up too, and I'm sure our viewers are going to go watch the video Run, but it's like, how long did it take to work the makeup and the outfit and everything for that video?
Well, for the one where I'm in like this gold, I look like a Ferrero Rocher. That is just pure makeup team right there. Kat Calico did it. It took her an hour and a half of just pasting gold leaf all over my body. And between takes, she would have to run up and glue more because it would just flit away in the air. But Manzi DeYoung, who did the costumes for like the Martian scene and the Forest Witch, like everyone did their job sort of as remotely as possible because of COVID. And I mean, it's such a small team. So when you look at that video, it's one person per department basically doing everything.
What do you see for yourself in the coming year besides this great EP coming out?
Well, the EP comes out February 19th. So until then, music is kind of the focus. I believe sometime this year, Jupiter's Legacy is coming out on Netflix, which is a superhero show based on Mark Millar's comic book that I'm also in. And then hopefully, this new COVID strain doesn't decimate our nation so we can get back to having a sense of purpose and see our friends for the first time in a year. So looking forward to all those things.
So, I mean, are you constantly, it was interesting. I was thinking this morning while I was drinking my coffee, it's like, so when you wake up in the morning, depending on what you have for breakfast, is that the creative direction you're going to go that day?
No, I kind of operate intuitively. And I just I find like procrastination is my best friend because whenever I get stuck on a project, I just rotate the wheel and move on to the next one. And I think I'm very lucky in that my dad and my mom really like gave me the tools that I needed to take all of my experiences and turn it into something meaningful,
Well, and I've got to ask you this too, as a published author, do you foresee another book possibly in your future?
Oh man, Eric, no. Writing a book is so hard. Every book that comes out is a miracle. My book almost didn't come out. I was like, this is too hard. So I don't know. Maybe eventually, like in 10 years, when I've forgotten how difficult it was.
You know what? I mean, when do you have the time between the YouTube and the acting and all these great things you're doing? But I'll tell you what, this album, No Longer Yours, the EP coming out, I just think so many hit songs on here, and I really love the lyrics and the message. And as you as addressed with other media, kind of as a reflection, as a, putting yourself back together.
Yeah. I mean, Casualty, as I'm sure you know, because you listened to it, was all about, the breakup I had with the love of my life, the only person I ever thought I was going to marry. And No Longer Yours is about kind of finally seeing that person and not feeling devastated and finally being able to have that sigh of relief. And so it was just like a really great empowering album to be like, okay, great. I'm not crying every night anymore. I can move on with my life.
But I think also, just like, and what struck me on it, to where not only with the songs and with the videos and everything, but it seems like multiple layer with your creativity. You're you're helping yourself cathartically, but you're also helping others, just like with this album.
Yeah, I think, the only thing an artist, I'm speaking for myself here, the only thing I can hope to do is be as true to my own experiences as possible. And I think when you see truthful art, it resonates with us. I know when I saw Margaret Cho perform for the first time when I was a teenager, everything she said just resonated so much with me, having seen a woman who was, also Asian up on stage being funny. I was like, I'd never seen this before. And the jokes that she had about her upbringing and her specific family dynamic, it just made me feel seen. And so I think in being truthful to ourselves, we can really connect with others.
Well, and I want to make sure too, Anna, that our viewers know where to find you so they can, make your YouTube subscriptions hit 3 million. And, and with all your social media, webpage, everything you have going. And I want to make sure too that they buy and download this new album. Where should they go?
Well, it's available to listen wherever you consume music. And my name is Anna Akana, ANNAAKANA. And that's me on literally every social platform that exists.
Well, Anna, thank you so much for coming on The Rock and Review. Congratulations on great music, incredible songs. And I can't wait to see what you're going to be doing in TV, film, and your YouTube channel next.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.